Vivian Ashworth always believed property lines were sacred, until the night her own vanished beneath a slick of stolen asphalt. It began with a low rumble, like distant thunder, at 2:13 a.m. A sound she knew well from her years of living on a quiet stretch of country road outside Maple Hollow, the grind of heavy machinery. Vivian jerked awake. Through the curtains, orange work lights flared against the trees. The vibration trembled through her floorboards. She threw on boots in her robe, heart banging, and sprinted down the driveway. At the edge of her acreage, floodlights blinded her. A line of trucks and a steamroller crouched in the darkness. Men in reflective vests moved like ghosts across the gravel lane that she, not the town, not the HOA, had paid $80,000 to carve out of wild scrub. Her road, her private road. Who authorized this? She shouted over the roar. A foreman barely glanced up. Orders from Maple Hollow HOA, he barked, clipboard in hand. Paving the connecting route tonight. We were told it's public easement. It's not, Vivian snapped. This is my deeded property. But the machines drowned her out. The steamroller pressed forward, a hulking beast flattening the gravel she'd hauled in with her own savings. Vivian's hands trembled. In the chilly dark she pictured the signature on her deed, the months of paperwork, the letters she'd exchanged with the HOA when she'd refused to join their association. She had her boundary survey locked in a fireproof safe. Yet here they were, turning her private lane into their trophy road. By dawn, the gravel was buried under black asphalt. A fresh, gleaming strip of pavement stretched like a scar straight through her property, connecting the HOA subdivision to the county highway. Tire marks already streaked the surface. The HOA had stolen her road overnight. The next morning, Vivian marched into the HOA clubhouse, deed folder clutched like a weapon. Inside, the board sipped coffee around a polished oak table. At the head sat Marlene Grayson, HOA president and self-crowned queen of Maple Hollow, her blonde bob immaculate. "You paved my road," Vivian said, voice low but sharp enough to slice. Marlene's smile was syrupy. "Good morning to you, too. We simply improved access for the community. You'll thank us when property values rise. I never granted an easement." "It was implied," Marlene replied, flicking a manicured hand. "Our legal team found a loophole. We consider it a shared thoroughfare now." Vivian laid her deed on the table. "No, you trespassed, and you will undo it." Chuckles rippled from the board. "Vivian," Marlene cooed, "litigation would be very expensive. Why not let it go?" The room smelled of smugness and cheap perfume. Vivian left shaking, but inside a cold resolve formed, harder than the new asphalt. Weeks passed. HOA residents sped past her windows, flinging gravel into her yard. Delivery trucks rattled her walls. She documented everything: license plates, timestamps, copies of her deed. She hired a lawyer, but the HOA's attorneys dragged their feet. Each letter back was a wall of legal fog. They thought they could exhaust her into surrender. They miscalculated. Vivian studied every foot of the road, every legal clause. The HOA had paved without a recorded easement. The county confirmed no transfer of rights. The asphalt sat on her property like an uninvited guest. And then, while reviewing utility maps at the courthouse, she noticed something: the subdivision's only entrance now relied solely on her road. Their previous access route was closed for bridge repairs for the next 6 months. Without her lane, they were landlocked. The discovery was electric. For weeks she planned in silence. At night, she walked the road, memorizing each mailbox, each lamppost, the rhythm of passing cars. She studied the county traffic ordinances and rental agreements for towing companies. And then, late one Friday, after the last HOA meeting where Marlene smirked and dismissed her once again, Vivian acted. First, she filed an official notice of trespass with the county recorder's office, served copies to the HOA board, and posted bright red, "Private property, no trespassing, violators will be towed," signs at both ends of the road. The signs gave her legal standing. Then she phoned every towing service within 50 miles and struck a deal: immediate, round-the-clock removal for illegally parked vehicles, her name on the account, expenses covered up front. Saturday dawned bright and breezy. Perfect. Vivian stood at her mailbox sipping coffee, watching as SUVs and shiny sedans streamed past. The residents barely glanced at the new signs. By noon, the road was lined with cars attending a neighborhood garden party, the kind Marlene adored, with champagne fountains and string quartets. Vivian waited until the cul-de-sac overflowed, until she counted more than 40 cars on her property. Then she made the calls. Tow trucks arrived like an armored cavalry, engines growling. One by one, they latched onto the gleaming vehicles, Lexus, BMW, Tesla, Mercedes. Hooks clinked, hydraulics hissed. Tires lifted from stolen asphalt. Neighbors emerged, jaws slack, as their luxury cars swung away. "What are you doing?" a man in a polo shirt shouted, sprinting toward a tow operator. "Private property, sir," the driver said calmly, handing him a copy of Vivian's trespass notice. Panic spread like wildfire. Marlene burst from the garden party, silk scarf flapping. "Stop. Stop this at once." Vivian stepped forward, a quiet fury in her eyes. "Every car is trespassing, and now each will cost $250 to retrieve." "You can't." "I can," Vivian said, holding up the deed. "You paved without permission. You ignored my notices. This is still my land." Tow lights flashed red and blue against Marlene's pale face. Within an hour, the road was stripped bare, the garden party silenced. Residents huddled in clusters, clutching phones, screaming at insurance companies. Some offered bribes to the tow drivers, others begged Vivian. She simply documented every interaction on her phone. Marlene tried threats next. "We'll sue you for harassment." Vivian met her gaze. "Go ahead. Discovery will show who trespassed first." The standoff lasted until twilight, when the last tow truck rumbled away carrying Marlene's white Range Rover, her pride and joy. By Sunday morning, Maple Hollow buzzed with outrage. Social media feeds exploded with videos of the towing operation. Local news vans rolled in, their reporters hungry for a David versus Goliath narrative. Independent landowner outsmarts powerful HOA. Public sympathy surged in Vivian's favor. Donations flooded a legal defense fund she hadn't even created. Under pressure, the HOA called an emergency meeting. They offered to buy the road, but Vivian refused. Removal of the illegal asphalt and full restitution, she demanded. A week later, under county supervision, contractors peeled up the blacktop, carting away every chunk. Vivian watched from her porch as her gravel road re-emerged like an old friend. The scent of warm earth replaced the acrid smell of tar. The final blow came when the county cited the HOA for unauthorized construction and fined them heavily. Marlene resigned in disgrace. Vivian's lawyer, emboldened by the public spotlight, filed a civil suit for damages and won. The settlement covered every penny she'd spent, and more. Neighbors still waved sheepishly as they passed, forced to detour miles around the closed bridge. Vivian never joined the HOA. She didn't need to. Her deed spoke louder than any board vote. Sometimes, late at night, Vivian would walk the quiet gravel road and remember the vibration of that first illegal steamroller. The rage had cooled, but the lesson remained like the stones beneath her feet. If you let someone steal your ground, they'll pave over your life. She had vanished every one of their cars to prove that her boundaries were real and unbreakable.